Imagine this scene. A middle-aged couple sits in a law firm, calmly signing their divorce papers. There was no betrayal, no domestic violence, and no severe financial crisis between them. If asked, they would still say the other is a good person, but the marriage simply could not survive. Why do couples who once deeply loved each other and who haven't made any unforgivable mistakes eventually become strangers? Psychological research shows that the silent killer of most long-term relationships is not some earth-shattering event, but rather the repeated failure to catch each other's emotional balls in daily life. Often, we believe love is the only bond that holds a marriage together. However, love only determines whether you start the journey. It is emotional resonance that determines how far you can go. What exactly is emotional resonance? Simply put, it does not mean you must have the exact same hobbies or agree on absolutely everything. Emotional resonance means that when one person sends out an emotional signal, the other can acutely receive it and provide a feedback on the same frequency. It is like a radar pulse sent out into the dark night, receiving a gentle echo from another ship. In actual case studies, the communication state of many couples resembles parallel lines. One person is expressing emotion, while the other is strictly talking logic. One is seeking comfort, while the other is rushing to solve the problem. Over time, that profound loneliness of feeling misunderstood acts like a slow poison, gradually dismantling the foundation of the relationship. So, how can we build and enhance this crucial emotional resonance in our daily lives? Next, we will look at 3 real-life slices of marriage to reveal 3 practical psychological tips that can save and deepen your intimate relationship. By applying these methods, we can attempt to break down the invisible walls between us and let the affection flow once again. Let's look at our first slice of life. It is evening, and the wife is standing by the window, looking out. She casually remarks, "The moon is really bright tonight." The husband, sitting on the couch scrolling through his phone, doesn't even look up. He just gives a dismissive grunt, his eyes not leaving the screen for a single second. The wife sighs quietly, closes the window with a hint of disappointment, and the room falls back into a dead silence. These seemingly insignificant moments happen every day in many marriages, often without the people involved even noticing anything is wrong. In the husband's logic, it might just seem like a pointless statement with no real information, requiring no serious attention. But in psychology, this is the wife sending out a crucial request for connection. John Gottman, a renowned authority on marriage psychology, introduced a classic concept called emotional bids. Research shows that every time a partner initiates small talk, lets out a sigh, or shares even the most boring news article, they are essentially asking one deep, core question to the other person: do you care about me? When faced with a partner's emotional bid, people typically have one of 3 instinctive responses. The first is turning toward, giving a positive and attentive response. The second is turning away, which means ignoring or being dismissive, just like the husband we just described. The third is turning against, directly showing impatience or criticism. Long-term tracking data reveals that couples who remain happily married have a positive response rate of 86% to each other's emotional bids. For couples whose relationships eventually end in divorce, this number is only 33%. So, how can we apply this principle in our daily lives? This brings us to our first practical tip: practicing the turn toward method. Whenever your partner shares a small emotional moment with you, try to force yourself to stop what you are doing for just 3 seconds. Put down your phone, look up to make eye contact, and provide a brief but positive piece of feedback. For instance, to the wife looking at the moon, you could say, "Yeah, it is really beautiful. Do you want to grab a coat and go for a quick walk together?" Please remember this core rule. Never use a workplace efficiency mindset to evaluate your partner's daily casual chats. In an intimate relationship, no small talk is ever truly useless. Every single time you make a positive turn toward your partner, you are making a valuable deposit into your emotional bank account. Let us look at the second life scenario. A husband comes home exhausted from work and cannot help but complain that his boss changed plans again, making him waste the whole day. He feels extremely frustrated. Upon hearing this, the wife immediately switches into analytical mode, saying, "You should have just pulled up the previous email records to prove it. You are always too soft in your personality." As a result, the husband falls into complete silence, and soon after, a fierce argument breaks out between them. In this case, the wife is actually acting out of good intentions, trying to help her husband solve the problem. But in the husband's current emotional state, all he needs is for his feelings to be caught, not to receive a lecture. Psychology divides communication into instrumental communication and expressive communication. Often, when faced with a partner's complaints, we instinctively suffer from fixer syndrome, eager to grab our toolboxes and fix the problem. However, the operating mechanism of the brain dictates that this approach often backfires. When a person is experiencing negative emotions, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking, is suppressed. At this very moment, if you offer highly logical advice, the other person's brain not only cannot absorb it, but will actually interpret it as condescending criticism and a rejection of their feelings. Therefore, our second practical tip is to use the communication formula of empathy first, advice later. When you hear your partner complaining, please press the pause button in your mind and forcefully turn off your problem-solving radar. We can try doing this in 2 steps. The first step is emotional validation. You could say, "It sounds like you were really infuriated today. If I were you, I would feel wrong too." The magic of this sentence is that it instantly lowers the other person's psychological defenses. The second step is exploring their needs. You can follow up by asking, "Do you need me to give you some advice right now, or do you just want me to vent with you?" Give the power of choice back to them. Please firmly establish this understanding in intimate relationships. If emotions do not flow, logic will never get through. Finally, let's look at the third slice of life. A couple married for 10 years has their daily conversation limited only to, "Did you pick up the kids?" or "Is the utility bill paid?" At night, they lie in the same bed, yet each scrolls through their own phone, falling asleep back to back. This roommate crisis in middle-aged marriages happens because they have been submerged in daily trivialities for so long that they lose the desire for deep connection, resulting in what we call anticipatory fatigue. Psychology suggests that the fuel keeping an intimate relationship burning is self-disclosure. When both partners stop sharing their inner vulnerabilities, fears, and expectations with each other, the vulnerability loop is broken and the relationship enters a dormant state. To combat this emotional depletion, we need to build a buffer zone against fatigue. This is our third practical tip. Set a daily 15-minute stress-reducing conversation. Take 15 minutes every day and do not talk about the kids, do not talk about chores, and do not talk about money. Just talk about yourselves. You can try the highs and lows sharing method, where each person takes a turn sharing one happy thing and one frustrating thing they encountered today. Ritualize your intimate moments and use this small but certain block of time to rebuild the moat around your two-person world. To summarize, a good marriage never runs on autopilot. It is a two-person dance that requires deliberate practice. Respond to even the smallest emotional bids. Quit the preachy fixer syndrome and stick to the daily stress-reducing conversations. Do not wait until the iceberg appears to start repairing the cracks in the ship. Tonight, try using the methods we learned today to truly listen to the person sleeping next to you. Among these 3 tips, which one do you feel you need to improve the most? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. If you found this video inspiring, please like and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.